All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's show of Disney Co. in the Know. I am Bruce, and I'll be your host, and I am joined by Hannah
Hey y'all.
and Jake
Hello.
and Elizabeth.
Hi.
And this is episode 5. And in episode 5 this week, we are going to talk about Disneyland's Marvel's Avengers Campus. And then at the end of the show, we're going to talk about our favorite Marvel movies. But before our discussion begins, I just want to take the time to say that this show, Disney Co. in the Know, is sponsored by 407 and Beyond Vacation Company, travel agents who are Disney and... Well, that's not showing, is it?
Oh, that's there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Disney and Universal, travel experts who help plan your family's vacations to take away the stress. So all you need to do is show up, have fun, and create family memories. All right. Well, sorry for that snafu there, guys. But I am ready to talk Marvel Avengers Campus. So Avengers Campus, for a little bit of background, is going to be in California Adventure Park out at Disneyland, and is set to open up July 18th, 2020. I have not heard of any news that the construction or the opening of Avengers Campus has been delayed. Have you guys heard any word on that?
I
think so.
heard about construction at Walt Disney World being delayed, but I haven't heard anything about the Avengers Campus specifically or anything out in Disneyland. So as far as I know, that's all still on schedule.
Yeah, and that's all I've heard too. So until we get word, we are anticipating a July 18th open date for Avengers Campus. Let's just go through the attractions and talk about what Avengers Campus is going to have to offer. So let's talk about the very first thing, Guardians of the Galaxy's Mission Breakout. So this is an attraction that already exists that they're building Avengers Campus around.
Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth and I were out there last year and had the opportunity to ride Mission Breakout. And all I have to say is I was very nervous when they changed over the Tower of Terror to Mission Breakout because they took a classic Disney ride and they were changing it to modern IP. But I absolutely enjoyed Mission Breakout. So I'm glad that they're building Avengers Campus around that. Elizabeth, what do you think of Mission Breakout?
Okay, so I don't want to step on any toes, but I honestly think the Mission Breakout is better than Hollywood Tower of Terror. But I also love Guardians of the Galaxy. So that's why I really, really enjoyed it a lot.
Yes.
We were also there at Halloween time, so they did an overlay. So I would look forward to that too at Halloween time, the overlay that they did there. But it was so much fun. And if you're a Guardians of the Galaxy fan, you will absolutely love it because they hit on all the little like fun little Easter egg things throughout Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's really fun.
Include some of our favorite music from the movies?
Yes. That's why I liked it too, because I love I mean, like, if you love Guardians of the Galaxy, it's because of, the music, and one of the reasons why. So it's so good because it's like you feel like you're in the movie. And I also just like the cue difference of Tower of Terror versus Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think it's a very strong attraction.
Awesome.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It certainly does play the soundtrack, which is a lot of fun. But I will read here what Disneyland has on their website. This attraction is for those 40 inches or taller, and is categorized as big drops, a thrill ride, dark, loud, and scary. And I'll say that for sure. It is dark, loud, and scary. So I will read the context of the mission is. As it states, when Rocket escapes, he commandeers a gantry lift and enlists your help on a harrowing mission to rescue his fellow Guardians. Prepare to unleash intergalactic mayhem from the top of the fortress to the bottom, as one of Star-Lord's awesome mixtape blasts a classic tune. So
fantastic.
Yeah, it is. One thing that they really did well was when you go up and down in this attraction, there are like different sequences. First off, not every ride is the same. But they have
Yeah.
these screens and action is happening as you go up and down, which is really cool. So, yeah, does anyone have anything to add on Mission Breakout before we move on to the next attraction?
I mean, I haven't ridden it, but it checks off all the boxes. Dark, loud, exciting, great music. Like, sign me up.
Yeah, I'm looking
Great
forward
ride.
to that one.
Yeah. All right, excellent. Let's talk about the newest attraction then, the one that will open up on July 18th. And that's, as I pull it up here, is Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure. Does anyone have any thoughts on that one before I read the synopsis on this one?
So the pictures that I've seen make me think of the Toy Story one, where you have like the blaster cannons and shoot, because it's like four
Yes.
people sitting in a row and they're like firing things off, and I feel like that's a very classic ride style. And that would be a lot of fun, and be, fun competition with the people you're sitting with. Nothing super difficult, so like a wide variety of audiences could ride it. So I think it sounds like a good ride.
Yeah, speaking of that, the height restrictions on this ride there are none. And so I found that to be really interesting, that this attraction, which is dark and spins, per the details, is that there's no height restrictions. So I'm kind of trying to imagine what the intensity level of this one's going to be.
Yeah. That'd be
Yeah, I
interesting
wonder-
because go ahead, Jake. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I wonder if no height restrictions means you can like bring on like babies and everything too.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that would say a lot about how intense, like motion wise, the ride would be.
Right.
Not that it has to have a bunch of motion to be good. Like those type of rides, that it'll rely on like the fun of the game and shooting everything and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think it'll be good either way.
And
Yeah,
I feel like
oh, go ahead.
I would say I feel like Spider-Man tends to be a hero that a lot of like younger kids can like easily get into. There's a lot of cartoon shows about Spider-Man. The Spider-Man movies are, well, I don't know. The second one was pretty intense and emotional at times, but I feel like the first Spider-Man movie was a little bit more like lighthearted and than some of the other Marvel movies tend to be. So I wonder if they're kind of trying to play towards a younger crowd with this ride too, and make sure that they have something that can appeal to everyone.
Yeah, I think that's right. Elizabeth, did you have anything?
I was just gonna say, the only Spider-Man ride that we ever rode was out in Universal, and that ride was probably not going to be comparable to this then.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So, Jake and Hannah, do you recall the Spider-Man attraction at Universal?
Yeah, I
Bits and
think
pieces.
so.
Okay, so it's set up a lot. Well, actually, it's almost identical to Transformers. In that is, to Elizabeth's point, a very action-packed, very intense ride. And so if this does not have any height restrictions, I imagine we're going to see a totally different type of Spider-Man attraction. Speaking of which, I'll read from the Disneyland website. It says, Web Open House goes haywire. Embark on an action-packed adventure alongside the amazing Spider-Man. When Peter Parker's helpful but otherwise buggy spider bots get stuck in replication mode and escape from a web workshop, Spider-Man must stop the rampaging robots before they wreak total techno havoc across Avengers Campus. Problem is, they're rapidly leveling up and becoming tough to beat. Your task? Hop aboard a web slinger vehicle and help weave a frenzied web to trap these friendly neighborhood sidekicks in a true Spidey style. It's up to you to unleash your inner hero and save the campus from complete chaos. Perfect for up-and-coming recruits with no height restrictions. I hope I read that with enough intensity as the attraction seems to, as the description kind of describes the attraction. So
it's just weird that the two attractions that they're going to have out there, and I know you haven't gotten to the other, like those really are the only two attractions, but like one, they're like so extreme from one another. Like one is like very extreme and very intense in your face, and then the other one doesn't seem like that much.
I'm kind of wondering if they did that on purpose, because already having the Guardians one so intense, in order to get like in order to appeal to families with younger kids who their kids love the Marvel superheroes, like they don't want to go to a park where the kids can't ride any rides.
Right.
So they had to make something like super low key comparatively to kind of give some options if those are like the two big rides.
And to your point, Hannah, I think Disney does that often, because if we look back on when Pandora opened, they had Flight of Passage, which is a very intense ride, but then they also have Navi River Journey, which is a very low key, any age can get on that. Toy Story Land open, they have Slinky Dog Dash, which is, you know, relatively a more intense roller coaster versus the Alien Swirl, and that one is not as intense. So I think Disney does a very good job at appealing to all age groups, because the Marvel series is so loved from young to old, so they want to make sure that they're hitting those
and
groups.
from those who have loved Marvel for a long time and new fans like myself, which we'll talk about towards the end of the show. So but to Hannah and Elizabeth's point, they seem to really do that well, where they have an intense ride for teenagers and up, and then a ride that everybody can enjoy. And what I was going to say is, I might have said this earlier, but Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad also does not have height restrictions. And I know if you take a young one on, that you're supposed to hold them in the front, and as long as the lap bar or seatbelt can come across them attached to you, that tends to be okay. So
I think doing an intense one and a not intense one also gives them a lot of room for growth and additions, because I can see this Marvel campus continuing to grow.
Yes.
So it kind of gives them a lot of options for where to go with more rides.
Good.
I think we might be being a little harsh on it with assuming it's not going to be intense. Like I'm sure it won't have a whole lot of motion and stuff, but there's ways to use visual effects on rides to create the illusion of motion and stuff that might be a good substitute. Make it feel like you're moving around a lot and everything like that. So
yeah,
I would expect at least a little of that in it too.
Very good points.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Anything left on the Spider-Man attraction, Web Slingers? All right, excellent. Let's move on to the Sanctum. So the description of Sanctum reads, explore the ruins of a mysterious ancient sanctum and learn the site's secrets from Doctor Strange. And I will read the second half, because this description is really long, which probably goes to say a little bit that the description is so long because I think people are unsure of what this attraction is. An ancient site hidden for centuries. For as long as anyone can remember, rumors of unexplained events and energies have emanated from a remote location in the hills outside Los Angeles. In the late 1940s, a Stark Industries complex was built on the location. Decades later, Tony Stark invited Doctor Strange to the Avengers Campus to enlighten recruits about the mystic arts. Doctor Strange suspended the area's cloaking spells and revealed the sanctum to the world. Come discover for yourself what has been hidden for centuries. See the ancient ruins and learn from Doctor Strange about the amazing orb of Caligostro. So, movie fans, is that something?
I don't recognize it, but
okay, neither do I. I
sounds,
don't even know how I said it. The orb is known to be especially active at night. Visit after dark, and you might see the sanctum flowing with magical energy.
I'm excited for this one because I feel like this is going to be their opportunity to really kind of go crazy with some like world building. Like, you know, I've heard incredible stories about what they do with the Pandora and with Galaxy's Edge from you guys. You guys have been there. We're hopefully going to go in May. And so I feel like this is where they're really going to go above and beyond with building like this cool, intricate Marvel world where you can come and just like explore, and they can do lights and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's going to be super interesting to see.
Yeah, it sounds super immersive. And it sounds to me like you're going to meet Doctor Strange there. Is that how you guys understand it as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounds like just like a meet and greet location where you can like go explore and see what this world building, as Hannah put it, you know, has to offer.
I feel like
I'm excited.
I think Disney does that, like with Galaxy's Edge. Yeah.
Back when I did get to visit Disney before, way back before Galaxy's Edge existed, they did have like a little Star Wars ride in Hollywood Studios and like a little Star Wars part. And they had Darth Vader came out on stage and they would like pick a kid out of the crowd to fight him. And so I'm imagining this being something like that. You know, they'll do like meet and greet and pictures with Doctor Strange. And then, you know, every hour for 15 minutes, he comes out and picks a couple kids out of the crowd and teaches them to do like the motions, and they'll have lights and sensors, and, you know, it'll be a big, that's what I'm picturing. So.
Yeah, that would definitely be cool. For time's sake, anything left on this? There's probably not too much more to be said about this.
Mm-mm.
All right, let's talk about the last thing. Avengers headquarters. Encounter some of the Earth's mightiest heroes and watch them spring into action to defend Avengers Command Center. It says that there are reports that the villain known as Taskmaster is plotting a break-in, and the Avengers are on high alert. Brave superheroes like Black Widow, Iron Man, Captain America, and Captain Marvel greet new recruits and scan the horizon for potential threats. So to me, this sounds exactly like an interactive meet and greet. So
I definitely had some concerns if they were going to be able to have all of the Avengers here, because I know that Universal Studios in Florida has an Avengers campus on it, and they have some of the Avengers there for you to meet, and they do parades. And so I was wondering how like the rights to all of that is going to work as this campus gets built by Disney.
So Hannah, that's a good point. And to my knowledge, the way that this works is that the agreement between Universal and Disney is that Disney can do this Universal stuff out in California, but cannot do it in Florida.
Okay.
And so I think they have almost full reign with Marvel out in California. So,
which makes sense because Marvel is their company. So you think that they would, you know, get to have full reign, but the Universal one has existed for so long. I was just curious kind of what the path was going to be for that.
Yeah, and it sounds like there's a good mix of heroes to me between Black Widow, Iron Man, Captain America, and Captain Marvel. And I don't want to give any spoilers away for my favorite movie, but it's one of those. So I think that those are 4 good ones to me. What about you guys?
Yeah.
Is there any that you wish were going to be included that I didn't read off?
I like that they chose those 4 because especially you have some of the more classic ones there, like Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow, that have been around a long time, since like almost the start of the MCU. And I feel like with a lot of the main attractions here, it sounds like they're gearing more towards like that next generation heroes like Spider-Man and stuff like that. So it's cool to have some of the classic ones featured like this. I like that a lot.
I like that they picked a couple girl heroes as well as the guy heroes, because from what I remember, I don't think they had any of they may have had one at the Universal Studios. And so I'm pretty excited to have the female heroes there representing. And I am a little bit kind of puzzled, I guess, because are they going to have like the Guardians of the Galaxy, like a meet and greet by the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, or is the ride there and the heroes aren't? Like, how's that?
They from when we were out there, they did a whole show.
Okay.
So like every, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours, Star-Lord would like come out and they would do this whole like music show. And so I bet that throughout all the campuses there, or like throughout the entire campus, they'll have maybe some of those pop in and out. Because I was thinking, you know, as we were talking about it, I'm thinking, well, where's Black Panther represented? And, you know, where's Captain Marvel? And like all of these, where's the Hulk? Like all of these other, I don't think that they would totally exclude it, because if it's going to be considered, you know, this huge campus of all of it. So I think it'll be interesting to see like what else Disney has up their sleeve with how they'll have those.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, speaking of things up their sleeve, did you guys see the video of the Spider-Man animatronic going across buildings?
Yes.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so for Jake and Elizabeth who haven't seen it, that is something you have to see. We'll post that on our Facebook group page, all right? So Disney Cone the Know Facebook group. We'll post it there for you guys to check out. But the animatronic looks like there's a guy dressed up as Spider-Man jumping between buildings. We'll see if he's on the is is there, I don't know if in this photo here, if,
Yeah, he's up on top of the big building with kind of like the glass looking roof.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
He's right up there,
I
ready
see
to
him.
swing.
So this animatronic, the mechanisms that they've teased look excellent. So I think it's going to be really cool to be walking through this campus, and Spider-Man's going to be flying above. It's going to remind me a little bit of the dragon on top of Gringotts at Diagon Alley at Universal.
And I'm
But
hoping.
I also think.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Hannah.
I was just gonna say, I hope the animatronics are good and that they can then like continue to add more like animatronic heroes flying through. So like maybe they won't add, you know,
like a show.
Yeah.
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 But that's also to Jake's point, like how you're saying how good that animatronic was. I think, we should not, maybe discredit the ride coming as well, because I think the ride, if that animatronic was so good, just think of how great the ride's going to be. So.
Yeah, I agree. And if any of us or all of us came across like we weren't excited for the Spider-Man attraction, that's false. So we're super excited. We're just trying to predict what their experience is going to be like. So excellent. So any more on Avengers Campus for now?
One more thing.
Yeah.
They said Taskmaster is going to be the villain.
Yes.
I'm excited for that. That's going to be cool. I think Taskmaster is also going to be one of the villains for the Black Widow movie. Is that right?
From what I understand, that is correct.
Yeah.
That's exciting. He's as far as like villains to take out of the comics to bring in, that's definitely one that would be top on my list. He's got some really cool powers and stuff. I think he'll be a lot of fun to watch and experience at the parks and everything.
Yeah.
Verbiage that I am not familiar with, because I am sadly just kind of starting the Marvel series way late to the game. I know.
Yeah, we're a little late, and we'll get to that in our next segment.
I did want to mention, I was looking at the food option that they have, and it's with Wasp and Ant-Man. So I think that's going to be cool too, to see like that those those Marvel characters as well come into play. So it'd be cool kind of just to see how they like sprinkle it out throughout. And I think, walking through the park, we'll be able to, oh my gosh, look at this. Oh my gosh, look at this. And like see different references, which Disney is so good with all the little details. And I always think California does an amazing job with all of their rides and all their details.
Yes.
So I really think they're going to like knock it out of the park.
Especially,
Oh, no, go ahead. No, I was just going to say. Okay, go ahead, Anna.
Jake, go ahead.
You talked about the food option, and isn't it like Hank Pym's Kitchen or something like that? And he's the one who creates the particles that shrink and grow. So I'm really hoping that they have like
pizza.
Exactly, like massive foods and really tiny foods and like that kind of stuff. I think it'd be a really fun way to. So
that feels like so
Very
obvious cool. And so good that it feels like it'd be a huge miss if they didn't have something funny like that.
Yeah, I think I saw there's a picture on the website. It looked like a giant soft pretzel or something. And it's like that alone is really exciting.
Yeah.
Giant soft pretzel.
That's awesome.
Like I'm in.
You're right. Yeah.
Soft pretzel, I'm here.
I'm here for the soft pretzel. We're going to make a t-shirt for Jake. I'm here for the soft pretzels. So the only other thing I want to mention with Avengers Campus is that I'm hoping that they have character interaction the way that Star Wars Galaxy's Edge does it. And so at Hollywood Studios, you can go up and meet BB-8 and you can meet Kylo Ren and you can wait in line and do the whole meet and greet. But they do such a good job in Galaxy's Edge of characters walking around. So Kylo Ren usually walks around with like 2 stormtroopers. And Rey goes around and interacts with guests, and they play off of each other. And, Rey's trying to stay out of sight of Kylo Ren and the stormtroopers, and the stormtroopers come up to you and talk to you and ask to see identification or ask where your loyalties lie. And so I just think, I don't know how they would do that here, but I just think it'd be so cool if they had face characters of these Avengers and Marvel superheroes somehow interacting with guests outside of a meet and greet location.
Yeah.
So, cool.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to ask, where's this part of the park located at?
Good question. And so it's going to be hard to tell from the
Because I was looking at the
photo
map.
here. So it's on the other side of Mission Breakout. So you go down that
Okay.
that road there, and when it dead ends at Mission Breakout, it's going to be in that land next to it.
Okay.
It's kind of right behind Cars Land.
It's on that same side. Yeah, exactly.
I'm interested to see how they will transition that, because I think Galaxy's
Yeah.
Edge does such an amazing transition on both sides when you walk in. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal how they do it. And so it will be really interesting to see how they do it out there too. So it'll be good.
Yeah, I totally agree. Galaxy's Edge did a really good job at Disney World of that transition. So to Elizabeth's point, I'm sure it's going to look great.
Oh yeah.
And the one thing is that area is already set to like New York or a downtown area. And so, I mean, half the movies take place in that setting. So
Yeah.
it's kind of already natural, to exist there. It's a natural extension of that area. So, all right, guys, for time purposes, the last 10 or so minutes here, let's talk about our favorite Marvel movies. So I'm going to pull this up here and then give a short disclaimer. So I am new to the Marvel universe, excuse me. I am so new that my movie watching started with the self-isolation practices from the coronavirus. So
Perfect time.
We've tried to hit out at least one to 1.5 movies per night. And so far we are all the way through the Avengers. And we're getting ready to start
three quarters of the way.
3/4 of the way through Avengers, and we're
Yeah.
getting ready to start Guardians of the Galaxy. No, Iron Man 3. Excuse me, Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3.
I'm such a novice. So, that said, let's start with Jake. Jake, what is your favorite Marvel movie?
It's a tough one. There's several that stand out for me. On one side, the Iron Man movies, especially the first one. I really like those. That's like where it all started. Robert Downey Jr. is just perfect as Tony Stark. So the first Iron Man is really hard to beat for me. The other ones that I would put up there with it are either the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, just because I love the music and the humor, and those are just so well done. I really like any of the Captain America ones too. In particular, the first Captain America, every time I watch it, I like it more. So if I keep watching it, it's probably going to be at the top of my list eventually. Other than that, I really liked Civil War, which is another Captain America one, I guess.
Okay.
I really liked that. And I like the last couple Avengers ones a lot too. Infinity War and Endgame were just perfect ways to tie everything together. So
all right,
I know that's several.
Not
it's hard to decide.
So you like,
but
not
so you like a
you.
lot of them.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah, but
give us one.
Narrow
Give us
down
one.
even further. Just one. Oh, it's either Iron Man or Captain America, probably.
Okay.
I'll go with Captain America just because I like him better as a hero. So I'll go with that.
Excellent, Hannah.
I would say that the Guardians of the Galaxies are also two great runner-ups for me because the humor and the music, like Jacob said, and Chris Pratt, just phenomenal in his role. But my favorite would have to be Endgame. The action scenes and the fight scenes are phenomenal. I love the way that story kind of pulled everything together. And it was filled with so much emotion for me. I was happy. I was sad. I was laughing. I was crying. I was mad. I was there was everything. I know, no spoilers. I'm not going to tell you what happened, but I cried a lot.
I've already read some things. Yeah.
It's just phenomenally done for a movie, and especially for a superhero movie. So Endgame is my choice.
All right, Elizabeth.
Okay, so like Bruce said, we haven't seen many, but I feel like I have maybe seen some parts of it. And I did see Black Panther when that first came out. And I really did like Black Panther a lot. And I know that maybe that's not one, I don't know if it's necessarily my favorite, but it's higher up on my list. My favorite out of the ones that we've just recently seen, definitely Iron Man. I was stoked when we saw Incredible Hulk, and those even last few seconds when Tony Stark walks in, I was so pumped to even see him. I was we were debating if we should even watch it. And then we watched a preview of it and Tony Stark walked in and I'm like, we're watching it. So I definitely think Iron Man is my favorite character, and I love his movies, and I don't know, it makes you laugh and makes you cry. It is really good. So I can't wait to see Iron Man 3 and the rest of the Avenger movies with him in it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And for me, I'm going to sound a lot like Jake here, but my favorites are between the first Iron Man and the first Captain America, the first Avenger. I absolutely love the setting and the environment of Captain America and how he was selling the bonds, and then became the hero. And he was just kind of like this average to very super skinny guy who they built up. And so I love that storyline, although to me already Iron Man kind of feels like the classic Avengers movie and Avenger. So
and the one thing as a newbie watching all of this for the first time really in order, and I'm sure you Marvel fans out there, Jake, Hannah, you will already appreciate this, but I loved seeing in Iron Man when they come in and they pull Captain America's shield out, and then you're like, oh my gosh, that's Captain America. And the different references when they would say different things and all the little Easter eggs. And I loved just in Captain Marvel, learning about, what's Marvel and all of that. And then seeing Stan Lee play a character and I'm talking like a crazy person right now and smiling huge, but I'm so sad that it took us this long to wait to watch them because they're so good and I don't know why.
I'm glad you guys are on board.
They do such a good job of interconnecting them with that, with little references.
Yes, I love
and stuff.
that. Yes, I absolutely love that because I think that's why I love Disney stuff so much, Harry Potter stuff so much, because when you see those interconnectors of Harry Potter reference, in Cursed Child, when you see stuff like that pulled from the originals, it's it warms your heart. And so this is kind of giving me that same feeling. So
yeah. I didn't realize that there was so much connectivity between them and cohesiveness in the storytelling. And so when one funny part that I really liked was when Iron Man uses Captain America's shield to prop something up. I thought that was funny. But it got me thinking. I've been excluding Marvel from the conversation, but when we talk about having a debate of Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Harry Potter, I'm starting to think that Marvel fits in there, at least from a cinematic universe. Jake and Hannah, do you know, are there such thing as Marvel novels?
The comic books?
There's the comic books.
Just the comic books. Okay, so
I don't know if there's
doesn't...
actual books. I don't know anything about that, but there's a lot of comics and stuff.
Okay, so we probably couldn't compare literature wise, but at least cinematically, one thing I didn't anticipate thinking was that Marvel fits in that discussion of Harry Potter, Star Wars type, sequels and movies. So, so with the remaining couple minutes that we have, Hannah, favorite Avenger or favorite Marvel superhero? If you had to pick one,
Captain America.
Well, it's on your shirt, right?
I just like how is as a person, before he becomes the huge, bulky superhero, and he embodies a true hero as a person before he goes through everything. So I really like that.
Yeah, Jake.
I think I said it when I was rambling about all the movies, but yeah, it's Captain America for me too. Like Hannah said, he's just he has everything you want in a hero as far as personality and everything goes. I love the idea of how they chose him not because he was strong in body, but because he was strong in spirit, and so they were able to give him the body to match that because he was selfless and heroic and all that stuff. It's just a really cool story.
That grenade scene, I was like, oh my gosh, you have to pick him.
Elizabeth, favorite Marvel superhero?
Iron Man. I like Iron Man because one, that's not my personality at all, Tony Stark's personality. So I love seeing the opposite of it and just how just his little things. I'm just laughing because he's so funny. Just like all the little things that he like says and acts, and how witty he is, and how he knows he's like the smartest human in the room. And that's like completely opposite from my personality. So to see someone like portray that, it's really funny and cool.
Chris?
Yeah, and my favorite is Iron Man as well. As
Oh,
much as I like Captain America, I do
Civil
like
War? We got a Civil War going on here.
Yeah, that's funny. So this question is specifically to Jake and Hannah,
Okay.
and we'll wrap up the show this way. If you were going to advise newbies who are new to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, would you advise them in watching the series in order of the storyline chronologically, or the way that they were released in theaters?
I've only ever seen them the way they were released in theaters. I want to go back and rewatch them storyline chronologically, and I think now is probably a great time to get started. But I would say the one concern I would have with that would be, because of the way things were released in the theaters, some of the post-credit scenes or references may spoil things for you if you watch them that way.
We've already experienced
i.e.
that.
Captain Marvel. Yeah, will
Yeah.
spoil. Yeah.
So that would be my biggest concern with that for a new fan, is if you don't know anything about it, you're going to start seeing all these post-credit scenes and these references that you don't understand. And then you're going to watch later movies and either get something spoiled for you, or then when that reveal happens in its own movie, it's like, oh, well, that wasn't as great as I expected it to be because I saw it coming.
Sure. That makes sense. Jake?
Good point.
So I again I've never watched them in the chronological order. I just watched them as they came out, and it's kind of reached a point where like there's so many of them, and the timeline seems so convoluted that it would be a pretty big undertaking to go back and watch them all. But I really like that graphic you had up earlier. Like I might have to go watch them sometime, and just listening to you guys talk about them is kind of swaying my opinion a little bit, because I would have said things that pop up as like the little Easter eggs. I would have said you kind of need to watch them in the order that they were released to fully appreciate those. Like one of the cool things about seeing Captain America's shield in Iron Man 2 was I believe Iron Man 2 came out before Captain America did. So it was kind of like a little hype, like, oh, like we're going to get Captain America, like we got to see his shield. But clearly it still works well.
Oh yeah.
Having already seen it. So I'm I'm starting to lean a little bit towards chronological order. I think that might be a really cool way to do it. I'm eager to try it out now.
Cool. Well, we'll keep you updated on how it's going and the type of Easter eggs that we find cool as we go in that order.
Yeah.
So cool. All right. Anyone have anything else to add about Marvel movies?
No.
That's it. All right. Well,
Just
excellent.
sad we waited too long.
I know. We have so much more to go.
Better late than never.
All right. So if you are watching this podcast or listening to us, make sure you give us a thumbs up and comment in the section below. Let us know what your favorite Marvel movie is. Let us know what you are excited about at Avengers Campus in Disneyland. Make sure to connect with us on Facebook at 407 Beyond Vacation Company. And please